It's gonna say live. There
All right.
you go.
There you go.
Juliota.
Hello, everyone. Do we have anybody watching?
We have two
All right, we got two.
current viewers.
Did you
All
tweet
right.
out that we're live?
Yes, I did.
Cheers.
Cheerios. Cheerios.
Cheers,
ching
everyone.
ching. Ching ching, fish head.
Fishhead, what's going on?
Not much. Yeah, got a lot of stuff going on in my basement at the current time. I'm now in midst of organizing the chaos that is all my collectible stuff, and I've been actually trying to get a studio set. I'm a big fan of music, and I play guitar, I play bass, and that's my other passion too. Is just to do what I like doing. So
Nice, man.
yeah.
Do you have a YouTube show? Do you do a thing, a stream?
No, I'm too nervous for that. I got, I maybe in the future if I actually figure out how to do there's a program called Ableton Live that is for people creating their own type of studio records and that sort of thing. It's very, it's the top of the top, and that's been my passion on the side of Monero. I've been learning that in the meantime. So, yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're living the good life.
Well, I do things that spark passions, but that leaves a lot of rabbit holes that go unfinished. So I'm very much ADHD in that I get focused on one thing. I'm so intent on focusing on that, and then next week comes and I don't touch that for another month. So
You sound like me.
Yeah,
I'm the same way.
Yep.
Have you always been that way?
Yeah. I mean, well, it more so got worse, I would say, in college. Once I got away from my family, I felt more freedom to do those, go to try to talk to more people, get into a lot more circles. But that just, you get pulled one way, you get pulled another way. Yeah, I have a lot of unfinished projects. How about you? So you said the same way. You have Monero as your passion. What's your other passions?
Well, I guess actually that's kind of taken up a big part of my life. I mean, I had the running for Congress thing.
I was about to say because politics was a huge part of your last year.
Yes, it was. I mean, I wouldn't call that my passion is pursuit of liberty. So I saw that as another avenue towards doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Monero 100%. That's the pursuit of liberty, and then I saw this as being another avenue towards that pursuit. You try to think of the different things you can do to have a positive effect, and that's certainly one of them.
Yeah, how I got into Monero, I think there was a precursor into that, and that was like researching as much of history as possible, like you going through the American high school public school system. It teaches you a lot about how America doesn't do any wrong, and it's America is this beacon of light in all this darkness, and in reality that's not really quite the case. We fucked a lot of people in history, and so learning about that and learning the alternatives, learning how maybe Japan feels about how we handled World War II, for example. I'm a huge history buff, and learning about that, there hasn't been a system quite like Monero or Bitcoin for that matter. Electronic digital currency, cash. This has never been tried out before. I think it's something that's going to be revolutionary and in a good way.
What do you think of the whole fourth turning theory? Are you very familiar with that?
No, I'm not.
Okay. The idea that we're going through these phases that we've always gone through of war, no war.
Oh,
have you followed that at all?
That seems very familiar, but I'm not. I don't know much about it.
Okay. Yeah, well, I won't get.
That'd be something. You just send me a PM and then I'll read up on
it.
That'll be another rabbit hole for me, I'm sure.
Yes, it definitely is a good one, and it seems to the theory seems to coincide very well with what's about to transpire or what's currently transpiring in cryptocurrency, and it kind of being one of the stages
It's very exciting. Very exciting time.
But it seems to line up perfectly. And the sovereign individual? That's another one that's going around a lot now in the crypto communities. Have you looked into that at all?
No,
have you read
you're saying a lot of things that
I'm definitely got to check these out. I mean, read the sovereign individual.
Okay.
It aligns very well with they make so many amazing predictions in that book. It's kind of eerie.
There's a person who does podcasts that I'm a huge fan on, and his name is Dan Carlin. Have you heard of him?
No.
Dan Carlin's Hardcore History.
Oh no, okay.
So that is he has written a book, and it's called The End Is Always Near. And it kind of talks about these cycles and these kind of general trends in history. That book is amazing. Highly recommend it. But it talks about, essentially like how it always feels like in your time frame, doesn't matter whether it's the 2000s like it is now, or back in the 1500s, or the when Christ was around. You feel like the end is always near, but it never happens. We keep on evolving as a society, and it's very interesting to see how these general trends actually pop up and repeat themselves pretty consistently across the board. But the only thing that makes them different is technology. The technology in the Roman era is just, vastly different than the technology we have now, obviously. So, what we do with it is exciting. It's, I hope it's the right direction.
Yeah. Well, there really is no wrong direction, right? I mean,
right.
I think we're just carrying out, nature here. It seems like we're very naturally, obviously, evolving towards technology, right? And like technology seems like the next
was it technocracy? What's the word for it?
A technocracy. Yeah. Well, we're there now, but I'm saying this, technology being the next thing after biology seems to be.
I guess like Andrew Yang is like the one. He was the one that was kind of trying to represent that idea, but he didn't really do it that much. Like he was saying buzzwords like AI and blockchain, but he wasn't actually.
He's running.
He's no Douglas Newman. I can tell you that.
For mayor, yeah. I wanted to. We wanted to reach out to him and try to get him to come when we sell coffee. We've been selling the gratuitous coffee, and now we've been doing it and selling it and teaching people out Monero out here in Brooklyn. So we're gonna try to like grab his attention to get him to come over, and
that'd be awesome,
right? If you let's see how tech savvy this guy really is,
right?
Like how badass would that be if he showed up? They'd be like, oh wow, okay, this guy means business.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Dude, there's a lot of options you can do with that. I mean, in terms of, because it's not just a niche thing anymore.
Well, the politicians have all grabbed onto Bitcoin, but nobody is grabbing onto Monero. So, like, obviously, I tried to do that. That was a big part, but nobody who's already won or has influence is willing to really be out there, fighting for that, right? So, like, Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, the one
Curious
person
to see who does that first.
Yeah, one person who was like, I guess that was really championing this stuff back in the day and it's arguable, but it was Ron Paul. Like he was
100%.
and he was like the first person, or Rand Paul, I guess, at that time. I'm not sure how it played out, but essentially, like, he was the liberty guy, and he was the one that really got the fact that gold-backed currency was the thing that we need to get back to really hone in our debts, and not make future generations end up paying for it. But he was, I'm sure he would have a tough time with any sort of internet, Twitter or Facebook type of thing. It's interesting to see if you get Andrew Yang on to the Monerotopia. I'll be watching that.
Yeah, maybe we get him on the stream. Have you heard of this guy, Alex Svetsky? He does the Wake Up podcast.
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. We just had him on. I just interviewed him. He's an extreme. Well, what did he call himself?
A what's it called? Supreme Bitcoin Extreme Maxi.
I was like, you mind if I
mouthful.
call you a Bitcoin Maxi? He's like, Bitcoin Maxi. He's like, I'm an extreme Supreme Bitcoin.
Oh,
So
we're
he's like the
gonna
most
call
maxi
him
you
Supreme.
get.
Is that like a Taco Bell like fucking menu
Ooh.
option like
He's an
Supreme?
interesting. When you hear him talk, he sounds like
It's this guy. over
he
here.
sounds like a Monero Maxi. Everything he says aligns perfectly
Damn.
Showing
with
it
the
on.
Look at that
ideals of
jawline.
Monero. But then he's like, but
This
he's
guy.
talking about Bitcoin whenever he's talking about it.
Okay.
So that was obviously kind of the topic of our interview, and I was pushing him on that. But he's
Man.
he's gotten to the point. His argument is, tell me what you think of this. He's like, he's fundamentally okay with the fact that the Bitcoin blockchain is transparent, and he thinks it always should be. He doesn't want to see privacy on the protocol level.
Hey, what was the argument for that?
The argument for that is that he thinks Bitcoin is inevitably going to win. It is winning. In his mind, it's already won. And the state is going to disappear because of the rise of Bitcoin. And that we don't have to worry about anybody surveilling us because there won't be any powers that be to surveil us, was basically his argument. I was like, wow. I'm like, that sounds like you're taking a big chance there, right? I mean, why would you not want to use something that has, privacy built into it just in case that doesn't work out for quite some time? And how do we even get to that point with the technology that's lacking that aspect?
But I mean, if you think about it, like if you think about the federal U.S. government that spends the most out of anyone in military, just fucking strength. I mean, they're not just gonna walk away from the power. Like, where was this? Like, the state will just go away.
Right, and in that fight, you're gonna need the best tool possible to make sure they don't destroy it.
Yeah.
And if you want that, you're going to want privacy built into the protocol. That's why I even posed that scenario to him. I'm like, well, let's say the United States government or whatever, the major governments around the world get together and they say, we're going to ban Bitcoin and Monero. We're going to ban both of them. You can't use it. You can't trade with it. You can't hold it. It's illegal. It's illegal contraband. At that moment, which would you rather be holding? Bitcoin or Monero?
Yeah, right. I mean, Monero, obviously, just because.
Right. So that's the obvious
right.
reason that, so if the battle's going to actually take place, that's what it's going to look like.
But I mean,
so
you don't even have to.
The ability to actually have unconfiscatable technology.
Yeah. I mean, and you can't even say like that's. I mean, if you just think about it in a terms of like a game theory type of wild scenario, if you're just thinking about it as like I'm gonna move my pawn here and I'm gonna put my queen over here, just generalized game theory. I mean, what are you gonna do? You're gonna hold all your Bitcoin on a Lightning Network exchange or a Lightning Network node? Chances are probably not. You're just probably gonna just hold it on your paper wallet like normal. And yeah, I mean, the state's going nowhere. Like, it's just, I mean, it's been around since, fucking like Egypt, like way back in the day. I mean, it's just,
yeah, but I mean,
going nowhere.
I see crypto as, it's going to take power away from the state 100%.
Right.
And it's going to empower individuals, but I don't see it eliminating the state.
There will be no bank that's
anytime soon, right? That's like, we're talking about a whole nother like generation where we get to, that level. I mean, Bitcoin is certainly moving us in that direction, but to say that, I never heard a Maxi make that argument though, but that's why they're okay with the transparency of it. Because when we're all living in this utopia, where there's no more government, it's okay if the chain is transparent because there'll be nobody to surveil each other. Because the way the game theory is going to work out is nobody is going to want to be able to use that or have the ability to use the tool that's sitting there that could possibly be used to surveil everyone.
Yeah,
it's
an interesting interview,
right? So, I guess this is the ultimate Maxi argument.
Like,
I kind of refuse. I mean, I'm sure there's a couple out out there that genuinely think that way, and I mean everybody has entitled their opinions, but I tend to very rarely, like, it's not a broad stroke on all quote unquote maximalists, that they think that the state's just gonna recede and go away. I've talked to a lot of people who are genuine Bitcoin maximalists that make very good arguments on why that's the case. And mainly is, the fact that Bitcoin was first. It's the first implementation of a successful blockchain proof of work, system, which I totally agree with. I mean, the fact that Bitcoin is here to stay is primarily because it's what everything else is backed on. It's the gold standard of crypto, the whole system. Which I can kind of get behind. The fact of that Monero is genuinely better at doing what crypto was supposed to be doing. I mean, that's an argument that we're supposed to be having. It's something to look at, but I tend to reserve to not broad stroke maximalists and that they think all these crazy things, because that's just a bizarre ass statement right there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, somebody brought up, you don't even need to ban it to make people lead it. You can just regulate and heavily tax it. Yeah, what do you think of that? So we saw, obviously, Biden's plan with, increasing capital gains tax. What do you think this idea of imposing capital gains on unrealized gains? You think that's something we might see happen? And how is that? I mean, once again,
Yeah, the only way I would be really for this, and I realize that there's a huge distinction on capital gains and how you it's not a currency at that point in time. It's just a way to label something as an asset. But it would be beneficial to both the system in general and also crypto, is if they were to tax, if they were going to tax the capital gains. I feel like that it should be taxed in crypto and paid out in crypto. So if you're getting your capital gains, a certain percentage of your Monero holdings that you want to say is taxable, and you opt into that, that you want to say that you had this much gains in this year, I think that should be paid out in crypto. And whoever is wanting to get, I don't even know how to best describe that.
Well, the point I was trying to get to is just with this idea that they might tax unrealized gains, right? And so,
right,
if you have Bitcoin, there's no the price that you bought it at. It's all with Monero, maybe you did lose your private keys.
Right.
Right. Boating accidents don't exist in Bitcoin. It's impossible.
Yeah.
So just another example of a flaw that seems to be right around the corner. Do you think they're going to implement that? Try to implement that? A tax on unrealized gains?
No, I can't say that I can see that happening. That doesn't mean I would be surprised if they did. And that's a good question. I don't know. I would like for someone else to kind of take over the reins.
I
have no idea. Someone else on Monero. You want to introduce yourself? Monero.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes,
hey
we
man.
Can. Hello.
Yeah. Anybody else that's listening to us too, jump on the Jitsi. This is for anybody that wants to jump on and talk about anything.
Chat about anything.
I see good comments coming in, but guys, feel free to jump on and talk about it in person.
Yeah,
I'm a huge fan of Monero Talk here. I've been watching you guys for a couple of years. You guys have done amazing stuff for Monero. I just can't thank you enough for just like all the interviews you've done and the education that you've just given to the whole community. It's just absolutely amazing.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
Thanks so much for the kind words.
It's literally a true passion. Like this is not a job, right?
No, this is true passion.
Cindy's like, no, definitely for me.
On.
No, she enjoys it too. We have a good time.
And then Fishhead, you're the one that did those Monero notes, right?
Correct.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
those were awesome too. Like, good
Thank
job
you.
on that. Yeah.
Thank you. That's awesome to hear.
And you have that new little business, right? The bodacious.
I got, like I said before, I got a lot of rabbit holes that I have to
Okay,
tend
no,
to.
that's awesome. You want to like talk about it a bit because I know that was the initial
Yeah. I honestly like
conversation. Yeah.
with that being said, if anybody out there wants to help continue the Note project in particular, I would love to hear from you guys. Just because I have a lot of stuff going on my own. If you want to, like the Monero outreach community or the Monero art community, any of those guys, if they want to take the reins on the note making stuff, I can definitely hook you up with who needs to be hooked up with to get that as a tradition for every hard fork, so we can celebrate every time we get an upgrade, to help raise funds.
Cool.
Definitely cool.
Oh, that reminds me with the shoes. We're adding.
Oh yeah, we're
I
adding
know
the
we brought it up
shoes. Yeah, we're
last
actually
time.
going to talk to him tomorrow.
Did we add it to the gratuitous?
Not yet. We're
All
still.
right. Yeah, we're putting that up. Did you see those shoes with the Monero shoes
Yeah,
that the guy
you
made?
were on the Monero anniversary. Yeah, he was having
he
trouble.
was.
With,
Okay.
Yeah, but he was having trouble with the mic. I think you
Okay.
saw the show, right?
Yes.
Sorry, I was so distracted that day because
No, you
I
were
don't
trying
know-
to get him on.
You're
for
in
a
total
while.
salesman mode.
I was
Yeah,
You're
literally
like
selling.
making wheeling and dealing.
Let me tell you, we should try to scale that up. Anybody that wants to do what we're doing, reach out to us and we'll provide you with the coffee and everything for gratuitous, and you could sell it on the street in your city. And the idea is, you're teaching people about Monero when you're doing it too. But we could come up with an arrangement where maybe even make, you make a few bucks that day. And yeah, that's a great
I actually
way.
might take you up on that, Doug.
It's so much better. Like, imagine you just wanted to go out and start talking to people about Monero. It's like you look like a crazy person. But if you're
you have a
selling
nice
coffee,
setup,
people are coming to you, and every conversation is about Monero.
Right.
So
Right.
it happens in an organic way. It's not just you
And
out
you're literally
there.
walking them through step by step. How do I begin? Oh, I need to download Cake Wallet. What's a
Right.
Cake Wallet?
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if you want to take us up on that, let's do it. We'll send you the coffee and everything. We'll send you even the equipment that we use. We could do like that. We could send somebody a package because we do these pour over. We just do these pour overs on the street. It works out very well.
It's very simple yet like pretty.
Pour over. Explain that.
You ever just like a coffee?
What is the pour
Really?
over?
It's just like it's like a method for a slow brewing of coffee. It's just has a filter with the coffee, and you slowly pour hot water over the. It's very hipster. It's very Brooklyn hipster.
But it's like just a simple setup and very unique that people end up like gravitating towards you because they're like, oh, this isn't just any coffee shop.
Right, because you don't know what's going on.
Hey, can I say something about this real fast?
Sure,
Yes, of course.
Yes. You're here to talk.
Yeah, I love what you guys are doing with that. And like, one thing that I do like to tell people about Monero, like when they get involved in it is, there's no company behind Monero, right? So like, when you like invest in Monero, you should invest in Monero as well. Like, invest in helping it, invest in, use and spreading it, like educating people, all of that stuff, because that's up to us. There's no company that's going to do that for us.
Exactly. I mean, you have the way, you got to think of it like a startup, this is your startup. If you want to work, if you're passionate about it and you always wanted to work on a startup, Monero is the dream job. And you just do whatever you want to do in an effort to grow the startup, and your equity in it will grow. You own a little bit of Monero and you work on the project. And it's just...
I want to go on record that I totally disagree. Go, all your complaints goes to Fluffy Pony. Before the exit scam of 2023, you got to get those complaints in now. So just want to make that clear.
Guys, we're drinking margaritas over here. The first one, did you like the first one?
Yeah, the first one was good.
Did you taste the jalapeno?
Yes, I did. It was very spicy.
Okay.
A little kick to it.
And then this is a
strawberry.
Strawberry.
Just taste it.
This is fresh.
I don't see any pour over going on over there.
This is fresh strawberries blended with tequila. What else I put in there? Honey, lime juice,
and then mint garnish.
Yeah. And the salt, spicy salt.
Spicy salt.
It's good.
It's good. It's pretty good.
I'm making these for Sunita's birthday party, so I had to do a practice round.
Is your birthday today?
No, my birthday's Saturday, so I'm having a
Ooh,
little
cool.
get together.
All right. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
But yeah, Doug, I think there's a lot of things that are at play right now for what I was trying to do. But I'm thinking of trying to start up a website of my own. There's a lot of things that are kind of going on with that, but I would love to sell some coffee via the internet. I don't know if you got any weirdness with that or not. But I was talking to one of them. It's asymptotically. I think that's how you say his alias. He's on Monero Pool's free node chat all the time. Anyways, he's helping me with trying to start up something with that. And then we're going to be using the Monero payment e-commerce style type of thing. It's called Casisto. Have you guys heard of that?
Yeah.
So we're going to try to implement that.
Sell coffee? Do with
anything, because I got plenty of like the collectible type of stuff, like my notes. I got other type of stuff like guitars, guitar pedals, just a generalized anything goes kind of website. So coffee beans is definitely just one of those other things I can list on there. So I'd want to start selling some of my stuff to get a good revenue stream. If you didn't know, last year was kind of a shitty year for me. I had to go in and out of working on call at the hospital all the time. It was quite the year for me. So I'm trying to go as far away from the hospital as possible, and I'm going to try to do that with Monero. So hopefully that works out for me.
Yeah, let's talk offline.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a way we could work together,
Yep, absolutely. I think we can make some work.
Anybody else want to jump on?
We have a Mr. Roger.
Guys, jump in anytime. Jump in the convo anytime.
Mr. Roger, you want to say hello? Or maybe not?
Mr. Rogers.
Just hanging out in the chat.
Hello.
Sorry, we hear you, Mr. Roger.
We hear you, Mr. Rogers. You have your sweater on?
Yeah. Monero's great. I just got my node up and running. It's awesome. Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome,
Cool.
man.
How long you been to Monero?
Ooh, years. Yeah. I don't know exactly. A while, I would say. A while for sure.
What do you think of this thing? I didn't really look into it much, but I see people are concerned about one of the mining pools gaining too much percentage of the network. Have you been following that?
I did see that. I didn't read into it that much. I'm sure someone else knows more about it than I do. But,
yeah, anybody want to jump on and talk about that?
Monero? You know a little bit more about that?
I mean, obviously we want mining to be as decentralized as possible. And I think a lot of that isn't malicious. I think it's just there's so many new users jumping on Monero now and so many new miners that they don't really understand, all the nuance and like what that means.
This used to happen in Bitcoin all the time. I remember this happened in Bitcoin.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's not like a great thing, but I'm not too worried about it right now. And I think if they ever did try to actually do an attack, like a bunch of miners would just jump off that pool really fast. So
it's nice to just see. So the mining seems to be growing at a pretty healthy rate, right? I saw some.
Oh yeah, this last year it's just exploded. I've been mining for since early 2018, and this last year it's just gone crazy in comparison to like anything I've seen before.
You said you just got a wait. Who was it that said they just got a node up and running?
Mr. Roger.
Oh, that was Mr. Roger. Mr. Roger, how was that? How was the process?
I keep muting myself. It was actually very tedious. In fact, the main issue was the SSD adapter is very finicky, so you have to get the right model. That's a very important part of the whole process, basically.
Do you run a Bitcoin node too?
No BTC node, just XMR.
Is that the first node of crypto you've decided to run, or have you done
It
other?
is my first node, yeah. It was definitely a good experience, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm just trying to understand if it's how like what it's like to run a Monero node versus other cryptos. If people have experience there in terms of level of difficulty.
Um, yeah, I'm not quite sure on that. I just bought the Pine 64, not the Pro, just a regular Pine 64. Someone recommended it to me because it has AES, which is better, I guess, for the node. I don't know the technical stuff about it, but yeah.
Cool.
Okay, cool. We have someone else on here, Crypto Bros.
Crypto Bros, what's going on?
We saw you before. Now he's muted. Hello. Crypto Bros.
Yeah, he peeked over
He
the
peeked in,
side
yeah. We
there.
saw his face, and then that was it.
Okay.
Weird.
Who else we got? Who's
we
the
miss
C?
you.
Who's the C person?
That is me.
that's
That
you.
is my computer.
Okay.
What else?
Yeah, but I think an interesting part with the mining issues, which were again, it's all in the works. Is all kind of. Oh, is that? Did he come back on?
No, he
I don't
didn't.
want. I don't want to cut him back off.
No.
But I really would. I think it's going to be kind of cool to see if we can try to incentivize some of the miners to mine in our own little pool that we're going to try to start up here with again, it's ASIP tactically. I think that's how he says it. To try to get some quote unquote virgin Monero. So with Bitcoin, there's virgin coins that are technically non-traceable if you put it in a cold wallet. So you can exchange it if you put all the block reward on one wallet, and I can give it to you, and then that's technically, I guess, untraceable because there hasn't been any transactions as before.
Right.
If we were to get a block found and you can put that into a cold wallet, then therefore it doesn't really matter. It doesn't necessarily mean that I got more anonymous Monero, because obviously every Monero is equal to one Monero.
Right.
But you can have it to be kind of like a little kind of cool collectible that you can have it all on separate notes that you can say, hey, you can tell that this is coming from a block in itself. And that's also in the works.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so we'll see if that ends up panning out or not. I don't know if it will, but that's one of the solutions that we were talking about with the mining hash rate thing. Yeah,
that's interesting. Yeah, obviously for Bitcoin,
I doubt it'll work.
For Bitcoin, it's actually valuable to do that. Whereas with Monero, it would just be kind of a novelty.
Oh yeah,
to show.
Virgin Bitcoin go for high dollar.
Do you know what the difference is? What the percentage difference is?
What do you mean?
Like in virgin Bitcoin versus non-virgin Bitcoin? Is there an market difference?
I don't necessarily know that, but I know that for example, is BTCC the company, company out in China. They have loaded their own blocks. They've loaded coins before too. Same type of process that I do with my notes. But they, say if you got a block reward, they would just disperse all at once, one Bitcoin here, one Bitcoin here, one Bitcoin over there, all in one reward block. And those go for high dollar, just because you could technically spend it and not have anything traced back to you as a KYC element to that.
Yeah, I hear you.
But it's interesting if you were to think about it in Monero too, because it's not like if I were to use those block rewards, it doesn't really matter, right? One XMR equals one XMR. But the cool part is that you can actually, it's just weird in itself of how you can see the difference between a block reward loaded over here with Bitcoin versus XMR.
Yeah,
you can actually associate that with a block.
Right.
We'll see what
Very cool.
Looks like we have another.
Is Mike Leonard on? He DM me. He wanted to come on, but I don't think
I have a fellow Jitser that just jumped
maybe
on.
that's him.
Hi. New
Hey
person.
guys.
Hi.
Who's
Hello.
this?
How's it
So-
going?
Reveal yourself.
Reveal yourself.
So
You wanna-
all I'll say is I've been about the Monero community for a while, but I'm a bit reluctant to have my identity permanently archived on YouTube. So
Okay,
Show us your
sure.
view key.
How's it going?
yeah, not bad, not bad. I think this is only the second live stream I've ever tuned into you guys. The first was the birthday stream
Oh, nice.
a couple of weeks back. It was really cool. A lot of
Awesome.
insightful discussion.
Awesome.
Cool.
Glad you-
And yeah, I really like your guys kind of, preaching the word with your coffee stall and stuff. It's a really cool cool idea to get the
That was
word
a-
out, get people engaged.
Yeah, thank you. It's fun. It's actually
Mm.
fun. I think it's also fun too because with COVID and everything, nobody was being social for literally
Yeah, it was
the
very
entire
awkward at
year.
first. Now
So when
people
you're
are,
out
like,
there, people are
using-
like, "Oh, hey, let's chat it up."
Yeah.
Because normally New Yorkers are like, "All right, I gotta go," But like now they're like, "Hey."
They're like intrigued and they're like, "Oh, what's this?"
Yeah.
And they're curious.
Are you
Like,
telling me I have to sanitize my package of coffee now because you gave me your sick package to me? God, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm telling people are excited
Lysol
now.
it.
They're
Lysol
excited
it
to
before you
talk
drink it.
and vent and like talk with vendors. It's funny.
That's a really good idea, though. It's I used to be involved in some Monero meetups in my neck of the woods, and after the last bull run, everyone kind of lost interest and momentum lost. But I'm thinking, given the recent market performance, plus the fact that everyone is going to be super socially deprived after COVID, probably
Exactly.
a good time to
Exactly.
start ramping things up again there.
Even Monero people were like nothing changed for Monero people during COVID. They're like, oh, this is the
This is
normal level
normal.
of socialization I do anyway.
Yeah, you can still hang out on IRC. Free nodes, where it's at.
Let's hang out. No one else sees the camera.
That's funny. Yeah, we run the New York Monero meetup. So, but we haven't done one. Yeah, same thing. I don't
like
remember the last time.
2 years. It was
Yeah.
well, we did the consensus after party. That was the last.
That was the
time.
last thing.
That was the last time we.
No,
ever did
didn't
anything.
Justin came once? I thought that was not a.
Was there
I
not
think
one
that
where there was
before
like
consensus.
an
It was
ARG
in
and you had to buy your ticket with Monero or something like that?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that looked really cool.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
We'll definitely be doing that again
Hopefully.
soon.
Well, we're going to the Bitcoin conference.
Oh yeah, we're going down to Miami. I don't know
Yeah,
if
if you
anybody
guys-
is going down there for the Bitcoin conference.
First weekend in June.
Yeah.
The
Anybody
lineup
going?
on
It is
that
the
looks
Bitcoin
awesome.
conference, but we're. I'm
The
sorry.
what?
The lineup, like everybody that's going there, it looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
want to try to interview Vince. Vince.
That's it.
Saber.
Whoa. Nick Savos.
Nick Zabos. I almost revealed that it's him. I think it's him.
Tell us how you.
I
You're
want to try to
drunk.
interview him. That would be great. That'd be
Go
great
home,
to-
you're drunk.
That'd be great to interview him if we can get him.
So yeah, if anyone's down there, like reach out to us. It's the first weekend in June. We're gonna be there. Have a little
Yeah,
Monero
definitely. Yeah,
presence
maybe
there.
we could do a little Monero
a little
meetup down
meetup
there.
there in Miami.
We were thinking of trying to do a party down there, but I'm
Yeah,
not
but
sure
I
if that's
don't-
gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't think it's
Yeah.
gonna happen.
We might do it.
There's a lot going on that weekend, so not really.
Anybody else want to jump on?
Yeah, I actually have a message to the guy. I think he's maybe left the Jitsi now. I don't know if he's still tuned in, but the guy who is running his own node off a Pi, an ARM chip. I would
Is
say
it
to him
Crypto
to
Bros? No.
yeah, I'd say to him to look up the RPi node XMR. It's on GitHub. It's like a super automated script for rolling your own Monero node on a Raspberry Pi, and it comes with loads of nice web UI interface and stuff like that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Is he still on? Or he jumped
I
No, I
can't
think
see him in the.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Do you have any comment there on like the difficulty of running a Monero node versus say a Bitcoin node? And
I never really ran a Bitcoin node before, just only Monero. I've never had a problem with Monero nodes. I mean, just getting them up and running is easy, but I guess getting it to run as a service and automatically restart if it crashes and update itself automatically can be a bit trickier.
mm-hmm.
And yeah, you definitely need a bit of a beefier machine, I think, for a Monero node than a Bitcoin node.
Yeah, how much more significant?
I mean, you know, it can run on a Raspberry Pi. It's just the initial synchronization can take days, if not weeks.
Right.
Have you seen how many buses have to transport all those transactions on Bitcoin?
Oh shit! Yeah, you just reminded me that.
Oh yeah, that's right. That
TX
actually that
Street.
website.
I haven't
is
had a
really
look at that
cute.
yet.
Oh, I forgot
It's
about
really
that.
cute. Yeah, I wanted to actually show it. I have it here. Like I thought it was adorable.
Dude, that
Yeah, that-
I fell in love with it.
one of those game changer type of things that really show like point blank how
It's like
crazy
so
it is.
cute.
Can you play it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna play it right now. It's like so adorable. I was like, hold on. Let's see, share my
So
screen.
I
I
haven't
think
seen
it's
this. I
Sunita
remember
or,
somebody
really-
had made one for Bitcoin Cash that time, right? Versus Bitcoin, wasn't that the thing? Let me see.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, this is it.
I
Yeah.
think it's the same TX Street. It has
It's
Bitcoin
Isabella,
Cash,
the
Bitcoin
Monero
It's the
Ethereum.
same
girl.
what?
It's the same site.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, it's loading.
Isabella, that's right.
Isabella, the Monero girl.
Who's this?
Isabella.
It's such a genius way to like show just how crazy the comparison is between the two blockchains, though. You know, like you look at it and you're just like, well, why the fuck am I gonna just keep on using Bitcoin? You know, like how can
Right.
they're not gonna like the Bitcoin maximalists aren't gonna like sit there and take that from PayPal, right? They're not just gonna be like, oh, I guess I'll just pay this $25 fee real quick to be able to send my buddy, you know, $40 in Bitcoin. You know, that's just ridiculous.
I see Mr. Rogers is back. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it was. I don't know if you heard
I
earlier.
had to order Thai food. Sorry. That's why I left.
Oh, I like that. I like the explaining the dynamic
Yeah, they
block
explain
size.
it.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
it's really cute. That bus will automatically get larger.
Apologies.
Got a sender's view.
No, I was just gonna say to you, if you want a nice, easy way to run a node on an ARM system, check out the Pinode XMR project on GitHub. It's part of the Monero
Well, that's the
ecosystem.
one I'm running. It runs so good now. It runs great now.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Awesome.
Dan, the guy that runs the thing, he's really helpful. So yeah, Pinode XMR is
It's the way to go.
Definitely.
All right. Oh, Mr. Rogers.
Came
He
back.
didn't come back. Oh no, he didn't come back. What happened? Crypto guy?
Yeah, weren't they just shouting it up? What did this? When did that bus thing? Was that new, or that's been around for a while?
I mean, I saw it, I think last week. I don't
I
know.
don't know. It's cute.
Oh, it says Monero is live on right here. Oh wait, hold on. Let me
Yeah, so that was funded by the community crowdfunding system, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like really cute.
Yeah, I think it's been around for other coins for a while. It's quite cool on the Bitcoin page and the other coins. You can they break the transactions down into different types depending on the house they come from and stuff like that. Whether it's like a I don't know, like
April 20th.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Go ahead. Who's talking?
The one coin that really boggles my mind is Ethereum. Watching all those people run around on Ethereum Street just boggles my mind to be like, I'm done with this, man.
The other great thing when we're out there doing the gratuitous is when I tell people that you could tip, you know, with the Monero and whatever it costs like a third of a cent. I'm like you can't do this with Bitcoin. You know,
Right.
they're like, what do you mean? And you know, and then when I explain, they're like, everybody's like blown away by that. You know, the average person that doesn't really know about crypto, like, wow, you couldn't send a cheap transaction with
Our
Bitcoin
crypto
right now.
bros is back.
A lot of people don't know.
I mean,
Yeah,
I kind of
so-
feel
yeah.
that that was the whole point of Bitcoin until it got like co-opted by Blockstream and all of that. But maybe that's another conversation for another day.
But the crazy part though is that a lot of the time maximalist argument is like, oh well, if we wanted to, if we prove that that's going to be beneficial for Bitcoin, you can bet that the Bitcoin developers would do that, right? They wanted privacy, they'll do it. They wanted lower transaction fees, then they'll do it. It's like how is it not proof right now that you guys need to do it now? You know, I just don't understand.
Yep. What'd you guys think of 420 on 420?
Big fan.
Very interesting.
Big fan.
I didn't think it was
Worst
going to
day
happen,
of my
I'll be
life.
honest. It was a great comeback towards the end of the day.
It was a meme.
What is
What are the odds? I mean, that was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I love the guy who called it on Reddit. Like 2 weeks ago.
Yes, yes.
Not so much the guy who said he'd get a tattoo and then pussied
Yes,
out.
I messaged the tattoo guy, asked him if he'd come on and do the tattoo live on Monerotopia. I didn't check to see if he responded to me.
No, he said it didn't happen in his European time zone, so he was going to bail on that.
Oh, really? Then I thought I saw he changed his mind. It was like, you know what, I'll do it.
Oh, maybe I missed the follow-up.
Yeah.
That's a good twist.
I think he got so much social pressure. He had to cave in and get the tattoo. That's pretty funny.
That's hilarious.
Anybody else want to jump on?
Well, we have Crypto Bros.
Crypto Bros.
Hi.
Hi, just a quick question I want to ask of what you guys think of atomic swap, and as far as development goes.
Yeah, anybody want to chime in there? I mean, they're making progress on atomic swaps. There's already essentially an MVP that's out that's being used.
There's also a whole bunch of different projects going simultaneously with different implementations, which is always good.
Yeah, there was a
Now, what do you mean by different?
Commit.
there was Commit Network is working on one, and then we also had the one that the Monero community created the CCS for, and then there was
Farcaster, right?
another one that I don't remember the name for.
Havnero?
That's the
Commit,
decentralized exchange
Okay.
that they're working on.
right? Commit, Farcaster, and then the Thor. Did you get the Thor chain as well? Right, is essentially going to allow for decentralized swapping.
I think more than ever, what's currently happening in the economic landscape. I think Monero will play a very key role in terms of privacy. And I honestly didn't think that, coming into crypto back in 2017, thinking, about privacy. You think about public ledger with Bitcoin, but in terms of what Monero is trying to accomplish, it's amazing.
Yeah, and it's working. It works today. What's amazing about Monero is that it actually works today as intended. And in Bitcoin, everything's like, yeah, well, that's going to happen someday in the future. Like right now, Monero works today as digital cash.
It's always someday, right? Someday.
Right.
Soon.
Right now, it's Bitcoin is only a store of value, but someday there'll be all these other things. And whereas Monero works today as digital cash.
Just like how Lightning Network is going to solve all of Bitcoin's problems, right?
Exactly.
It will in 2 weeks. Give it 2 weeks.
Tattoo guy actually did respond to me. He said, "Won't do it live, but I'll send a pic when it's done." All right.
What is he getting?
What?
What kind of tattoo is he getting?
He must not
Monero?
trust the tattoo artist very well.
What's up?
I say he must not trust the tattoo artist very well.
We'll pay for your tattoo
under pressure.
if you do it live. We'll pay for your tattoo if you do it live.
Ouch. I don't know if I want to hear the screaming.
Yeah. It's kind of funny.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, but it seems like the atomic swap thing, I mean, it's gone pretty fast. I don't know much about it, but it seems like it's been going pretty quickly because, I mean, it seems like it was like 6 months ago, I think it was started really getting the ball rolling. Is that right?
Yeah, it's not just, it seems like it's actually happening. That we're not talking like 3 years from now. We're talking months, and it's going to be usable, it seems like.
The problem is people are not so patient, especially when it comes into the crypto space. I've been a crypto developer since 2018, and I think people just don't understand that development takes a long time in terms of getting an actual product developed. And it's just people want to get rich quick. That's what it is.
Yep.
Totally agree.
Yeah, people definitely do not have patience in crypto land.
I think that's going to be the make it or break it for atomic swaps is the user experience. If they can, package it up and make a nice front end, like integrated in a Cake wallet or something like that, then it'll go like gangbusters. But if it's something that you need to open a command line and sync two different blockchains and do some arcane command line voodoo, then I think it will struggle to get off the ground.
Totally agree with that. But these guys that are doing the kind of the MVP version, they seem to be very aware. I think that's the commit team. They seem to be very cognizant of that, and that seems to be a real part of their focus, is making it actual, user friendly and usable. So that's exciting to see. Anybody else want to jump on?
Anyone? Come on, chat. Here's the link.
Have you guys mentioned Triptych yet?
No, we haven't
No,
spoken
we
about that in a
In a
while.
while, yeah, since that interview.
Yeah, that's another really interesting thing that's in the pipeline.
Yeah, I mean, people don't realize, Monero's constantly being worked on, and it's not static. It's very dynamic. When are we expected to see that going live, the Triptych?
I am not sure. I'm not even sure if it's completely finished yet. Does anybody else know?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I don't know the dates, but definitely making progress there. I know they take their time with that. It's going to be audited.
Oh yeah, and they should. They definitely should.
But exciting to see that we continue to become more efficient. What are the other big hurdles for Monero? I mean, what do you guys see as being? Do you think adoption is the largest hurdle, or bigger concerns, or preparing the tech for the inevitable adoption? Like, how do you guys see it? I mean, I'm constantly thinking about this. I think that it's like obviously network effect in building up a user base is extremely important. And the question is, like, how important is that versus the technology side, right? So like Dogecoin is the extreme of they have the community, but they don't have the tech, right? And then like Monero is the, kind of towards the side of the tech is great, but it's not memeing out there as well as Doge, and you just have people going gaga over it. What do you guys see as, like, how do you guys look at that? And do you think you kind of need to find a balance and be somewhere in the middle, or how do you guys look at it?
I mean, you have people out there that are really big into Bitcoin, and they know all the tech, they know all the ins and outs of blockchain, but they're very reluctant to even learn Monero in the first place, because you're dealing with 4 private keys rather than 1, right? You have a lot of ins and outs, and they're too, I don't know, like they're too comfortable with Bitcoin to even want to even try to learn Monero, or learn Monero's properties and how it is beneficial in regards to Bitcoin. Like they don't want to touch it. And it's going to be interesting to see when it eventually does take steam, and it's more usable and more user friendly. It's going to be interesting to see these, Nick Zabos and or the other types of high end characters, like the Winklevoss twins, or whoever the case may be. Like, it's going to be interesting to see who actually starts backing Monero first. I think it's going to be more of the Liberty types of people versus the, I want to get the money grab type of people. That's my thoughts.
I agree. I think, for me personally, I think that the biggest hurdle is just the view that Monero is like drug money, and like privacy is, if you want privacy, you're just automatically suspicious because you're automatically doing something wrong. And
right.
I think it's definitely more of a culture thing. Like, I don't know why so many people have that view and where they get that view from, but I think that is really the main thing, is just like educating people that privacy is like extremely important, and we need this to have like an open society. Like everything's going to be completely surveilled, and a huge problem down the road if we can't convince people of these things. I think it'll happen though. It's just going to take time.
We have a new guest here.
Yeah. So people did chime in on the comments. They're saying, where is it? Oh, with the Triptych saying, yeah, it's gonna be months that Sarang is pursuing multi-sig with it before he makes any further development on it. So that's interesting.
Well, we have a new guest on Jitsi.
And then, yeah, people agreeing that the biggest problem will be the government essentially fear-mongering the public.
The government that's supposed to, wane away after Bitcoin is dominating for so long, right, Doug?
Yes. That will inevitably just disappear. So it doesn't need.
Right. Yeah. Normal stuff.
I mean, in that hypothetical situation, the government's going to do anything it can to try and like stay in power, right? So like they're going to use any route, and the surveillance on Bitcoin is like obviously that's going to be the first thing they're going to go to in that hypothetical situation.
Right. It's the easiest thing to exploit right now.
Exactly.
The low-hanging fruit.
Trying to stop Bitcoin. That's what you would exploit, that component.
I mean, personally, though, I don't feel things like the numerous recent news stories about ransoms being demanded in Bitcoin in Monero really necessarily will help its view in the old white people in power.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point too. It's just a matter of. Sorry, go ahead.
No, well, I was just gonna say like the same thing was happening with Bitcoin years ago with these ransomwares and stuff. I think it's a good sign, honestly. It's a healthy sign. I mean, obviously, it's not a good thing that people are getting hacked and stuff, but it causes people to like take their security more seriously if all their stuff's gonna get locked down if they don't want to deal with this, and it shows the value that Monero has, that people are wanting that over something else.
Oh yeah, I think it speaks volumes for Monero technically, but I don't know if it does great things in terms of public perception.
Yeah, in terms of technically, it's literally showing that the most efficient thing to do with stealing, computing power is to put it towards Monero.
Yeah, I look at it like a decentralized bug bounty system. I mean, if someone hacked my system, I'd much rather they mine Monero than like crypto lock all my stuff.
Right. It's interesting. That kind of gives it a base value too, right? So it's just another base use case for it. So we know it's useful on the dark markets. It has a use case there. People could argue whether or not that's good or bad. But the fact that it's also used for that purpose shows that there's kind of a baseline use case beyond just speculation.
Well, we have another guest here. Anon, you want to say hi? Hello? No, he does not. Okay, well. Thanks for jumping on.
I guess his name is Anon
It's so hard to do like a talk show, public talk show in Monero. It's hilarious.
They're like, I want to be in the conversation, but not necessarily talk. All right, we get it. We respect that. It's all good.
Funny.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Well, anybody else want to chime in and chat a little?
So I'm trying to figure out, is a lot of people from the Monero community going down to that Miami conference?
We do not know.
We don't know. We'll be down
we're
there.
Hoping.
Cake will be down there. Vic from Cake. Fluffy
is going to be there. Yeah,
he'll be
that's
there.
all. Yeah, I mean that's so far.
So
I don't know. About
beyond that, I don't know.
I mean, Monero is also very secretive, so we might just like throw something out there, and they'll just pop up at like the local bar that we're at.
Would be great.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Monero just has its own little contingent down there.
Yeah, be fun.
Yeah.
Time.
We may not even go to the actual conference.
We might be outside trying to interview people though, because we're all about those interviews, especially this one over here.
Yeah,
We're
just
like popping out of the bathroom.
slow pouring coffee from dusk till dawn.
Why I got you? I have a few questions.
Don't mind the cameras. I don't know. We're hopeful that more people will go, but I think so. I mean, like we said, there hasn't been any conferences or anything like that, so I feel like this one's going to be kind of.
Be curious to see what the market's doing then. I mean, right now, what do you guys think about the market? Right, things are plummeting right now, right?
Yeah. Yep.
What's your take? You think it's just
I
a
think
temporary cool off, and the bull market is very much in play? What's your take?
I have the same take as the first time I went to a meetup. It was in 2016. It was the Monero New York meetup, and I remember you guys might remember this. It was when Fluffy or Ricardo, he was saying like, "Oh, there's an announcement." It's like he had an announcement to the announcement,
Yeah.
and like Monero was going crazy. It started pumping like crazy, and then while so he had this presentation on his big announcement, and I was like watching the markets, and like while he was giving the presentation, when everybody started realizing that all of this was some type of scam, just like fuck you type of thing. I just remember the market was just nosediving like crazy, just as a fuck you to everybody who's a suit, and it was beautiful. I loved it. That's one of the main reasons why I still love going to Monero is because they don't care about the money and they don't care about the market necessarily. They're just care about the tech. And
It was
honestly,
it
like
was
I feel
poetic.
the same way.
It was
Yeah. It was very much like a Big Short moment, the movie Big Short. It felt exactly like that. I'm sitting there in the stands and I'm watching the market just fucking just oh man, it was beautiful. I loved it.
Yeah, I remember one of my buddies got kind of rocked by that.
But I mean, he got death threats over
Yeah.
which it was something that it shouldn't be taken so seriously, but it does. It's the open source. It's an open source thing. It's not supposed to be meant for, like the guy said, like there's no CEO. There's no CEO of Monero. There's no central point. You should celebrate that. You should really celebrate it. And I don't know. I don't really care about the markets that much.
I think the problem with that was the timing. Like if it had been maybe a year or two earlier and it was the OG Monero crew, they would have totally got the joke and and laughed along with it. But because the speculators were getting in, the people who'd gone YOLO with their credit card full tilt on 100 times leverage.
Completely agree.
Yeah, the scene had changed a bit, and I think Fluffy didn't quite realize that when he made his little troll.
What do you think the effect is it had overall on like the trajectory of Monero?
Not a whole lot long term.
It just became a bit of a meme.
Yeah, I don't think it really affected.
Or
if anything, I think it just showed, that Monero has.
I still direct all complaints to Fluffy Pony. Before 2023, before he gets his exit scam out of the way, just go talk to him, and then we'll be fine. We'll be good. Just talk to Fluffy Pony.
The funny thing is that here in Canada there's 3 ETFs that just got launched in a matter of months. So there's so much bullish news coming out for the crypto market. But the thing is, these institutions that are getting the green light to essentially go ahead and invest in the crypto space, I think they're gonna start to realize that why should we be buying at these prices when we can essentially buy lower. So I think we're gonna see these competing hedge funds and institutions go against each other to basically outbid each other to kind of buy at lower prices. Now that they essentially have regulatory clarity on as far as investing.
You think they're going to drive the prices down? You're saying?
Yeah, it's very possible. I mean, you got Michael Saylor, you got all these, billionaires. They're going to be competing with each other. And why buy at these higher prices when they can get it lower?
Well, the first person that tries to front run that, like, they get a better deal, and then that's just going to cause it to go up, and then it's going to. I mean, it's possible if they're all colluding and working together to push it down, but that's an interesting situation you're talking about for sure.
What do you think? Do you think there's big investment firms seriously looking at Monero and trying to figure out how they can,
It's very hard to say. Sorry, to interrupt there.
No,
It's
no,
hard to
go
say.
ahead.
Because of the regulatory clarity that needs to basically take place, and Monero doesn't have this product, as you would say, that is clean, has a clean track record, right? Where it's being used on the dark web. So I don't think that I think Zcash has a better chance of it just because of the investors. But I feel Monero overall has a better community as far as development goes.
Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin is literally built for number go up in that respect. It's friendly to investors.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think the major institutions are just warming up to Bitcoin at this point. Like they haven't even. There's probably a few that are looking at other things like Monero if they're smart, but I don't think that the vast majority of them even probably know what Monero is.
That's incredible, right? I mean, it's not
Yeah.
like at this point, at this stage in the game, when they're seeing how much money is in crypto, you have to imagine they've arrived at Monero.
I mean, for Bitcoin, I mean, it's at like what like the nation market cap or something like that. I mean, it's like what 15th or something like that in the world, or something stupid.
Something like that.
It's kind of, I mean, and to compare, I mean, if you take all of like, let's just say the top 20 cryptos, I mean, it's got to come up to US or any of the other like big countries of the world. I mean, if you're not investing into crypto, you're doing it wrong. You're not. You're just doing it wrong. You're gonna get screwed in the end, and I feel like a lot of people are gonna get screwed in the end. It's gonna be really sad, just because like you have people that will deny it because they are taught one way of thinking, and there's gonna be a lot of people that get screwed. So I mean, I think we have to. I don't know. It's a good thing for us, and it's a bad thing for a lot of people, unfortunately.
Do you think it's a net good overall?
Yeah, I think getting off of a system that's purely backed on government is good. Backed on the word of the government. I think all of it's bullshit. I mean, we see that day in and day out on. Depending on where you're at, but in the U.S. it's Fox News, CNN, and MSNBC. I mean, you get day in day out bullshit, and what comes out? Bullshit, more bullshit, and it's good to have something that's mathematically true and there and verifiable, and it's all good for the. I guess in other words, like with the internet, people were saying how bad the internet was, and that it was something for only porn traffickers and that sort of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's obviously not the case. Like there's so much use case of that now. Look at what we're doing. We're having a meetup between 8 different people, and it's a good thing. But we have to explore these options more closely, and Bitcoin doesn't want to do that right now. That's why you see Monero so far ahead, because they want to try out the crazy ideas that can give us the net good on that project. But if you're talking about it for a societal view, I think again is a net good. Crypto is supposed to be open source, and yeah, it's good. It's a good thing.
Definitely. Somebody is asking, when are we going to bring Fire Ice on the show?
Oh, Jesus.
Does he want to come on? Come on, man.
That'd be great. That'd be legendary.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear his side. I don't really know much about it. I know he's
definitely would be interesting to hear his
with
side.
the community. But yeah, come on.
We would need like 3 more hours. 3 more hours conversation.
Anybody else got anything else to contribute? We might close it out here and make another margarita.
All right.
Just want to say, like, thank you for all the work you do on your channel and bringing awareness to Monero as far as the community goes. And it was nice talking to you guys. So I'm gonna let you go from here.
Thanks for
All right,
coming
thanks
on,
for
man.
coming on.
Come on, join us anytime.
Yeah.
Have a good one, guys.
Yeah, it's
Good
been
one.
real.
Too.
I'll keep my eyes peeled for future streams.
Yeah, I guess.
All right, we'll wrap it up. Anybody else have anything to say?
Before we wrap up, though, this show is sponsored by Cake Wallet.
Oh, we
the
forgot our
best
cake
wallet
plug.
in the world. I mean, we talked about it in the
Oof.
beginning, briefly.
We did in an organic
You've
way,
been,
but now we'll do
you've been
the
using
official.
the Cake Wallet to introduce all these coffee lovers.
Sponsored by
into tipping.
the slow pour.
The what?
The slow
Sponsored by the
Slow
slow pour.
Cake has been clutch
Yeah,
out there.
cake.
though.
Yeah, it has
It's
been.
working.
Sleek and it's an awesome wallet. So
I use
Thanks,
it
dude.
every day, literally.
yeah, we use it every day. Actually, we do. But yeah. With that being said, I guess.
When's the next show? I don't know. I guess we don't know yet.
Oh, we don't know when the next show is. It's next week sometime. It depends on our schedule because it's a tad bit busy here and there.
Well, when are we posting the next Monero Talk?
By hopefully tomorrow,
Okay.
latest Saturday.
That's the Alex one.
That is the Alex one that we were talking about before. So hopefully tomorrow. I'm aiming for tomorrow. If not, definitely by Saturday.
And then what was the last interview we did?
Seth Simmons.
No, the one after Alex.
Oh, that was George, not George. I'm lying to you.
What's his name?
Hold on.
Yeah, that was a very.
That was a good one, actually. Yeah, that's coming on next week. That was Andrew Ballard.
Yes. What was the name of his? The Bonafide acquisition.
Report,
So he wrote this paper. Won't get into it too much. Wrote this paper on the Bonafide acquisition rule and whether or not it applies to essentially Bitcoin. So this concept of, so it applies to other types of property. Let's say you went and you bought a car and the car was stolen and you purchased the car. Are you now the rightful owner of the car, or is the person who it was stolen from the rightful owner? In that case, it would be the owner, right? Because they have the title. Other scenario though, you're selling a car and somebody comes and they pay with cash, and that cash was stolen. Are you essentially the rightful owner to that cash? And you are. So the bona fide acquisition rule applies to cash, and he was analyzing whether or not it applies to Bitcoin.
Plus, that I would imagine that would go into how the government has seized a certain amount of Bitcoin from Silk Road, from these other underground markets, and then they try to auction them off. At the end, that would actually go against the government in that case.
Yeah. But yes, but the essence of this really gets to the fungibility, and basically he says, he thinks the rule would apply to Monero, but it wouldn't necessarily apply to Bitcoin because of the fact that Bitcoin is not fungible. Yeah, so the bona fide acquisition rule, right? So since Monero is more cash-like, right? Whereas Bitcoin is more like a car where you need the, because the Bitcoin literally is a title network, right? You can look up the title at any time on the blockchain, whereas with Monero you can't do that. So it's pretty interesting. Stumbled across this guy and had him on the show, and I think it was quite revealing.
Kind of makes me wonder if the reason that doesn't apply to cash is just because, how are you supposed to enforce that?
Exactly.
How can you trace down cash?
It literally goes back to Roman times, case law, when basically the coins. They literally describe the coins received being mixed in a bag with the coins that the merchant had. So how would you know which coins were the stolen coins and which were, the other coins? So it's pretty interesting.
So that episode's up next week, guys. So
And yeah, the policy behind it being not only would you not know, but for the purposes of the free flow of commerce, you'd always want the currency to freely flow, and there would never be a question of whether or not essentially the currency was stolen or not, and whether or not you wouldn't want a history tied to a currency because it stops the free flow.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense.
All right, guys.
Cool.
We'll wrap it up.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in,
We
everyone.
appreciate your time. And
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for doing this, guys.
Of course.
All right. We'll talk to
Ciao.
you next week. Take care.